Alright, so this video is going to be about how to avoid customers that don't want to pay. And these tips will apply to just any other business where you provide a service. And I'm a mobile mechanic. These tips are going to be specifically for mobile mechanics, but you can apply it for other businesses too, or other types of services too. So first thing is always tell your customer or client how much you charge for a diagnosis before you go out to diagnose the car, because this has happened to me that a customer calls me, I schedule an appointment and I go out to do the work, but I don't tell the customer how much you charge. So when I tell the customer it's going to be $77 or $88, that's including taxes, they go like, I thought it was free, and I'm like, it's not free for me to come out here, right? I don't tell them that, but it's not free for me to go out and diagnose a car. I spend money on gas and things like that, but always tell your customer how much you charge for a diagnosis before you go out to diagnose a car. Even if it's going to take a couple of minutes or it's going to take an hour, it's up to you how much you want to charge for that, but always tell how much you are going to charge. Second thing is give a flat rate estimate, or tell your client how much you charge per hour, including taxes. So if a customer calls you for an alternator replacement, give a flat estimate on how much it's going to be for labor and parts if you are providing the parts, and so that way it's only send a flat rate including taxes, so that way they know how much it's going to cost for them. Third thing is, if you do work for businesses, never let it go for more than 3 invoices or 3 unpaid invoices. Never let it go for more than 3 unpaid invoices. This happened to me and it cost me $4,000, but about $4,000. I did work for a towing company, and this towing company, I was going to get paid $300 a day. I did a lot of work. I would come in at 9 a.m. and then get off like at 7, 8, 9 p.m. depending on when I'm done with what I'm working on. That I chose to do those many hours, but I just let the invoices go, the unpaid invoices go, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I never got paid. I only got 1 invoice paid from that customer. It's a business, and so I've learned that never let it go for more than 3 unpaid invoices. I do work for businesses now, and I always tell them that if you have 3 unpaid invoices, then I will not do more work for you. And I explain to them why I do this, why I chose to do this, and they understand. And I do work for a dealership previewing cars at an auction, and they always pay me. The fourth thing is, when you go and when you get to the car, always get the key for the car and start working on the car, and don't give the customer the key until you're done with the service. And when you're done, get paid, and then give the customer his key or her key back. So that way, and also because you need the key to work on the car, but always take the key before you start working on the car, and give the key after you get paid for whatever the service you did on the car. The fifth thing is, if a client tells you that they can't pay now, then ask them how much they have on them, how much money they have on them, and take that money and never do another job for that customer again. This has happened to me last year, maybe once or twice it happened to me, but I've learned that people like that, you just don't want to deal with people like that. So just take whatever they have and don't do work for them again. Just block them in your contacts or things like that, or you can send it to collection. Whatever they owe, you can send it to collection. The sixth thing is, don't take checks. Never take checks for your services unless you trust clients, because with checks you just never know if they have enough funds in their account, in their bank account or not. So I don't deal with checks anymore. I do get checks from customers, but only people that I trust. If I trust the customer, then I'll take a check, but I always prefer cash or Cash App or Venmo or PayPal or Zelle, all those other types of payments. Those are the types of payments that I take, and usually people will have those kind of apps in their phones, and they will pay me with Cash App or Venmo or things like that. Number 7 is never agree to get paid later after you do the job. So let's say a customer calls you and they need an alternator replacement, and they tell you, can I make payments on that? Don't take payments. Just don't take payments. You never know unless it's a contract, things like that. But that's too much for a mobile mechanic. It's just you and your business. Just don't deal with that, because you don't want to be calling these people trying to get the payments and things like that, and trying to get cash or their checks, and it's just too much to deal with. So never deal with payments. Always get paid when you do a job. Get paid right away. That's the easiest way to go about it. Number 8 is get a business license. If you don't have a business license, then you don't have the right to send these accounts to collection. You can't do that. You can't dispute it. You can't do anything like that, because you're not doing business legally. So get a business license. Number 9 is always send a written quote or estimate, either in text or you use an app to do that. I use QuickBooks. I make a quote there and send it to the customer in their email, and so they can look at it, and that's a written estimate. That's a legally, if they don't pay, then legally I can dispute that, or I can send it to collection, things like that. And number 10 is raise your prices up. Don't be cheap, because if you are cheap, if your prices are cheap, then you will attract cheap people or people that don't have the money to pay. So don't attract those people. Raise your rates up. Don't be unreasonable. Don't charge too much for your work, and don't charge too little for it. Don't be cheap, because you will just attract people that don't want to pay. And if you raise your prices too much, then you will not get work. So always be reasonable. For me, as a mobile mechanic here in Washington State, I charge $80 per hour, which is plus taxes, which is about $88. That's what I every time, and that's what I charge for a diagnosis when I go out. With COVID-19, I lowered that to $66, and when things go back to normal, it will go up and go back to normal. So that's how much I charge for my work. But keep in mind that if you charge good money for your work, then you have to give a good service. Don't give a cheap service, or just something that just is not right. So always, if your prices are high, then you have to give a high quality of service, and that's the way to go about it. If you give a high quality of service, you will attract people that want a high quality of service, and they will pay. But they don't want to be dealing with people that don't do the job done, or don't get the job done, or don't do it the right way. So you have to know what you're doing if you want to raise up your prices and not attract people that don't want to pay. All right, so these are the 10 tips that I gave you in this video. I hope this helps you, and check out my channel. It's Wrench Link on YouTube. You can check it out, and I have a playlist for mobile mechanics on how to build a successful mobile mechanic. Also subscribe to my channel for future videos that I'm giving out, and I also make videos for the automotive industries, like things like models that have problems, like for example the Nissan models that have a CVT transmission problem. I have videos about that on my channel also. That's under the playlist warnings about your car. And I also make quick videos about fixing cars. that's not my focus, because I think there are a lot of videos out there about how to fix cars, but I do make a couple, some of them, so you can check them out under the playlist Fix It Yourself. All right, so thank you very much. Let's go to the next video.